Discipline eats motivation for breakfast. And I know you're tired of hearing it because so am I, but unfortunately, it's true. Hi, I'm Caroline, and welcome back to another episode of the Embracing Beauty podcast. Sorry, I've been a little bit missing in action. Life's just been chaotic, to be honest with you, and this has just kind of taken a little bit of a back step with everything else that's been going on in my life. But I made a commitment to myself that I was going to stick to this podcast, and it's been a good few weeks now, probably more than a month to be honest, and I wanted to get back into it because I actually met some girls when I was out who said they listened to my podcast and said they really enjoyed it. So I wanted to bring it back because people were actually enjoying listening to it. So, and I enjoyed creating it. So we're going to get back into it. And today we're going to speak about discipline versus motivation because they're two completely different things and they all have their time and their place. But discipline is going to win every single time over motivation. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about the difference between motivation and discipline. So motivation is like an emotional desire to do something. It's like, you know, when you get that kick up the butt or you're inspired by somebody else to do something and it makes you want to go and do that thing or it makes you want to chase after your goals. That's what motivation is. It's a desire, it's a want to do something. It's that like fire in your belly that's like gets you to start on whatever it is that you want to achieve. A couple of examples of it is things like if you step on the scales and you realize that you've gained too much weight, that's going to give you the motivation to put in the hard work to lose that weight. Or you watch an inspiring video of someone running a marathon, like it's just been the London Marathon weekend and I entered the ballot. I've never ran more than a half marathon, but I was so inspired by watching all of the videos. I was like, that's the motivation I need to enter the ballot. And if I get accepted, then that's going to be the motivation to then start training for a marathon, because as it stands right now, that's not something that I've got the motivation to do. But if I had a goal in mind, I'm going to be motivated to do that. Another thing would be feeling envious of people who have more money than you or more free time than you. It makes you want to work harder or put an extra effort into your work because you also want to have more money and you also want to do better in your life. So that's kind of what motivation is. So it's a emotional state. You're being motivated by your emotions. But discipline is doing the thing that needs done regardless of how you're feeling. So your emotions aren't linked to it. Discipline is doing the hard thing even when you don't want to. It's getting up at 5 a.m. when you just want to snooze your alarm. It's going out and doing your run even though you feel like shit. Or it's going out and doing the run when it's raining, because that can be extremely demotivating and nobody wants to go out and run in the rain. But if you're wanting to achieve those goals, then you just need to grit your teeth and bear it. Putting in effort to study for a degree, as much as you want the degree and you want the results of that, potentially like a better job or a job that you're really interested in, but nobody is motivated to do coursework. Nobody's motivated to write a dissertation, but having discipline to do it even when you don't want to is how you're going to get to your goals. Or things such as like this podcast. It's getting up and creating the content, even if you're not seeing the results yet. I'm obviously doing this podcast because I want to help other people and other women who are in their 30s and going through the trenches. And I want it to reach that audience, but it's not going to do that if I don't put the content out there for it to be discovered by people. And I've really struggled to stick to creating the podcast, just like I said, because I had other things and I was cherishing some downtime with my daughter while she was off school and things like that. But it comes to a point where it's like, but you said you were going to do this thing and you're just not. And I was like, well, what's the best thing to speak about today would be about discipline and just doing the thing, regardless of how you're feeling about it. So motivation is great for getting the ball rolling. It puts that fire in your belly and it makes you excited about your goals, but it is fleeting. It's not going to be there forever. Like, if you've wanted to achieve anything in life, if you've wanted to go out and reach any goal, you know that motivation doesn't stay. I will just take my running journey, for example. You get the running gear, you get the trainers, you get the watch. I actually had this one for years, but you get the watch, you get all the running kit, and you've got no idea what you're doing. You're just like so excited to be starting on something new and seeing how you can progress and seeing how you can get better. But quickly that all just kind of fades away and it's a slog again. It's like, oh, I've got to go out. I promised myself I'd go out and run this 5k or I'd run this 10k or I'd train for this, or whatever. And it's so easy to just let it slide if you're not disciplined. If you're not disciplined, it's not going to work. Whatever it is you want to do, if you don't have the discipline to see it through, then you're never going to succeed at it. Discipline is what's going to get you to your goals. Discipline is what's going to set you apart from everyone else. Being disciplined is having the self-respect to do hard things even when it's the last thing that you want to do. But to be disciplined, you need to figure out your why. You need to have a reason why you're doing the things that you're doing. You want to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight? It could just be that you want to look good in a bikini, but another reason would be that you don't want to get out of breath climbing the stairs. You want to play with your children. You want to play with your grandchildren when they're older. And you know if you don't look after your health when you're younger, that you might struggle when you're older to do that. And it's something that you think about and you think, no, I want to be the fit parent. I want to be the parent that pushes all the kids on the roundabout. I want to be the parent that wins the school races at like school fundraisers and things like that. Reason for wanting more money, and I think everyone wants more money, obviously. But I want more money because I want to be able to treat my family better. I don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. I want to be able to save and have an emergency fund. I want to be able to treat my friends and family to dinners out or experiences or holidays. I want to buy myself the designer handbag. I want to get a bigger house. I want to have a nicer car. That's the motivation for the money, is that's your reason why. I want to have more followers on Instagram. But what you really want is you want to have a community that shares the same values as you, shares the same outlook on life as you, and you can communicate with them. Or it could be that you want to sell your product, so you have a small business and you want to grow more Instagram followers so that people will share it and like it, and it will potentially mean that other people will purchase your products as well. Or it could just be that you want to have more opportunities. You want to be invited to the PR trip. You want to be sent the PR package. You want to be invited to events. You want to go on paid vacations, because who doesn't want that? And discipline's how that's going to get you there, because you just need to show up every single day with the audacity that it's going to work. I want to run a marathon because I want to prove to myself that I can do it. I want to run a marathon. I want to prove that I can do hard things. I want to do it to show that I can commit to a 16-week training block and nail every single workout that comes with that. You get the picture. So you need to have a why, something that's deeper than just that you want more money, that you want to have more followers, that you want to create content, that you want to run a marathon, that you want to complete an Ironman, or you want to do a triathlon. Whatever your goals are, you need to have a why. What is your reason for that? Because when your motivation fails and you don't have any of it, that's what's going to keep you going. That is what's going to push you on in chasing your goals, is your why. When you're up late working on whatever project it is that you're doing, if you're getting up at 5 a.m. to make sure you get your workouts in, when you're spending countless hours in the gym because you want to complete at that high rocks, when you're trying to push through all of your failures, your why is what's going to keep you going. Discipline is key to the life that you want. So I read a study online that said that high self-control predicts that people will do better in school, have less mental health problems, have better relationships, and display less compulsive behaviour such as drinking or overeating. And learning to do the hard thing when it needs done is going to free up so much more time in your day for you to do the things you actually want to do. If you say to yourself that you're going to go to the gym at 9 a.m., but you don't actually go until 2 p.m., those 5 hours you've probably spent procrastinating, thinking, oh, I should have went to the gym when I promised that I would, or you're just filling your time with stupid little other activities that aren't going to get you to your goals. Whereas if you have the discipline to be like, nope, I promised myself I was going to go to the gym at 9 a.m., you're done by 10:30, you've just earned yourself another 3.5 hours where you can be doing other things. You can be focusing on spending time with your family, your friends, decorating your house, whatever you want to do. Having all of your hard things scheduled into your calendar and treating it like you're going to your work. You wouldn't just not show up to work, because there's consequences. And that's the thing, is when you're working on your own goals, the consequences are only on you. The consequences of you not going to your job, because you put it this way, like if you woke up and you treated it like your job. Oh, I'm just not going to go in today because I can't be bothered. I don't have the motivation or the discipline to go in. You're going to lose your job. And that means that you're going to lose your house, you're going to lose your car, you're not going to have any money. So the negative of that situation is outweighing you not going to work. So it's worse for you to lose your job than to not go to your work. But because we don't have the big negative of not chasing after our goals, it makes it easier for us to dismiss them. Because if you don't go for that run, people probably don't even know that you were supposed to go on that run. So there's not any negative consequences apart from you knowing in your head and you knowing yourself that you've let yourself down. And that eats away at your self belief because you've made promises to yourself and you don't even show up for yourself. You don't even show up to fulfill the promises you've made to yourself. So scheduling it in a calendar and treating it like it's an appointment. It's an appointment you've paid for. You're going to have a big fee. Treat it like you're going to your work. You would be there on time. You would show up. You would put the work in because you're being paid to be there. And you can also motivate yourself by giving yourself little rewards, which is what I've started doing because I really want a new pair of running trainers. And what I've decided to do is save £1 for every kilometre that I run until I can afford my new running trainer. So that's what I'm doing. But even if it's like, right, well, if I'm going to go to the gym today, I'm going to go get myself an iced coffee afterwards. If I spend 2 hours on my dissertation, I'm going to have this sweet treat that I've been wanting for ages. If I complete whatever project is, if I complete my project, I'm going to take myself out for a nice dinner. So it is helpful to have little things to motivate you along the way, but you can't solely rely on them. You can't treat yourself every time you do something. That's not how your discipline is built. Discipline is built by you do it because it needs done. It's something you've made a promise to yourself to do, so you're going to do it. But those little things do help to keep you motivated and help to keep you disciplined. To create discipline, I'm not saying it's easy and you're going to fuck up, you're going to fall off track, you're going to lose the momentum, but that's okay. You just need to remember to pick yourself up, dust yourself off and keep going. So, like I said, creating a schedule. So if your goal is to work out more, then plan that into your schedule. If you want to film content, plan it into your schedule. On my Google Calendar app, I have everything scheduled in. So I have like my work scheduled in, I have my workout scheduled in, when I'm going to film content, when I'm going to edit content, when I'm going to relax, when I'm going to go to my gym classes, when I'm going to spend time with friends and family. It's all in there and it's all color coded because when I look at it, I'm like, right, I said I was going to do that. Like this morning, I said I'm going to go for a run at 9 a.m. I went for that run at 9 a.m. because I knew I'd be dropping my daughter off at school. So I went for my run at 9 a.m. It was in my calendar. It's not debatable. It's booked in. It's there. I'm doing it. So create yourself a schedule like that, and you can make it into a pretty little calendar. You can have it in an actual diary, but you need to stick to it. Another way to do it is removing temptations or distractions. If you want to lose weight, if you've got a big snack cupboard full of crisps and chocolates and sweeties, that it's not going to help. The temptation to go and get that when you're watching TV at night or when you're stressed, because I tend to eat when I'm stressed. A lot of people do the opposite. But if my goal is to lose weight, if I have the option to go and eat a sweet treat whenever I want, you best believe I'm going to do it. So the best thing to do is to remove that temptation or replace it with healthier options. If you want to drink less alcohol, don't have alcohol in your house. A lot of people tend to have a glass of wine or a beer or whatever to unwind at night. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to cut that out, if you want to reduce your alcohol intake because you think it's getting out of hand or you're maybe borderline alcoholic, then if you've got a massive drinks cupboard, that's not going to help you, is it? Because the temptation's there. It's too easy. It's too easy for you to fall back into your old habits because they're there and they're readily available. So the solution is to remove the alcohol from your home, make it out of reach. If you want to spend less money, if you've got a chronic online shopping addiction, delete all of your card numbers from your phone. Because I know they're all saved there because mine certainly are. Delete them all from your phone. So if you want to purchase something, you need to get up and go and get your card. Or if you're like me and you have it saved, then reorder your card, report it as damaged, and you'll get a new card number and follow that strategy. Don't Klarna things. Save up the money and don't pay it in three. And I'm speaking to myself here because chronically I pay everything through Klarna. Not everything, but big purchases. I'm like, yeah, I could afford that £100, but I'd rather pay £33.33 for the next 3 months until it's next month and I've already enjoyed the purchase that I've had and I'm still paying for it. And then I'm raging at myself that I've picked the pay in three option. Remove Klarna from your phone. Get rid of your credit cards. Stop having money easily accessible for you to spend willy-nilly without even really thinking about it. Want to be on your phone less, which I'm pretty sure everyone does these days, leave it in another room. Because you know what it's like if an advert comes on the telly, like if you're watching YouTube and a minute long advert comes up, how easy is it to just pick up your phone and scroll? Like, I'm already staring at a big flat screen. Can I not have 1 minute where I'm not being entertained and I can't pick up my phone? So leaving it in another room because, oh, the advert's only a minute, I'm not going to go and get my phone for a minute because it's in the other room. Whereas if it's just sitting there, I'm just going to pick it up and scroll on it just to kill that 1 minute that my brain can't kill by itself. Or there is the brick, and I've never used it, I've just heard of it, and I think it is actually like a brick, and you connect it to your phone and it blocks access to all of your apps, or it blocks access to your phone at certain times and periods of the day so that you're not using it when you're not supposed to be. And I think that it's pretty extreme, but if you're really passionate about reducing your screen time, then it's a great method to do it, because once it's set up, like, you ain't getting on that phone. It's not working, it's not happening. If you've set it up so you can't go on your phone before 8 o'clock in the morning, like, that's it, it's not happening. And that's removing the distraction or putting barriers in the way for you to reach your goals. If you want to be more focused when you're doing your work, if you're working on an essay or a dissertation or a piece of work, a piece of content, how are you meant to get into a flow state and focus on your tasks when your phone's going with your notifications constantly and the TV's blaring in the background and you're just sitting in your bed under the covers? Like, that is not a place to work. Have a dedicated space for you to work and focus. Put your phone on do not disturb, turn all distractions off, and then you can seriously get into your flow state and your focus mode, and you'll find you'll probably actually get a lot more done that way anyway. You need to set clear and measurable goals. So if your goal is to lose a stone, right, well, you're going to weigh yourself every week or every day. I do not advocate for weighing yourself. I completely go off how I feel and look at my body. I don't own a set of scales, but some people are really focused on scale weight, which is fine. So if you want to lose a stone, but you're weighing yourself every week, same time, same day, every week, you're going to weigh yourself. And then you're going to be like, oh, well done, I lost a pound, or, oh, I didn't do so good that week, I gained that. Your body fluctuates all the time, especially as a woman. So I'm not saying that is what you should be doing, but it's measurable. You can see your progress throughout the month. Obviously, it fluctuates up and down, but you can take an average. You can take an average of the month and see if you've lost weight or not. If you want to deadlift 100 kilos, but you only can deadlift 60 at the moment, well then, right, our starting point is 60. How do we get to 65? Right, well, we're going to deadlift this amount of times a week, so we'll deadlift twice a week. We'll do 60 this time, 60 next week, and then we're going to increase it to 65 or 70, see how that feels. If it fails, we'll go back to 60 and work on increasing our reps. If we're able to lift it, great, we're going to focus on lifting that for the next 2 weeks. It's a measurable goal. You're seeing the numbers increase, and I don't know what it does to your brain, but I'm sure it will fire up your dopamine receptors and you'll be like, I'm actually making progress here. If you want to get into creating content, have a content creation plan. You want to post on TikTok 5 times a week, you better get that scheduled in. Like, make sure you've got a content day planned. You want to, like I say, post 5 times a week. How are you going to get there? Right, well, I'm always off on a Monday. Right, well, I'm going to take 3 hours on a Monday and I'm going to batch create my content. And then on Tuesday night, I'm going to edit it all and get it ready to go for the rest of the week. If you want to read a book a month, because that's your goal for this year, is you want to read a book every month. Right, well, how am I going to get there? Well, you're going to set aside 20 minutes every day and you're going to read 2 to 3 chapters. And before you know it, you'll have read the book, and you'll probably have read it quicker than in a month, just by setting aside 20 minutes every day to commit to that goal of reading your book. Now, being disciplined with big goals can be really, really overwhelming. So start off small, start off with little baby steps. What's some small acts of discipline that you can throw into your daily routine? Something that you're going to stick to. It doesn't take long. I'm going to do 10 push-ups in the morning when I get out of bed. I'm going to drink a glass of water before I have my coffee in the morning. I'm going to go for a 20-minute walk after I have my dinner. I'm going to do 10 minutes of stretching every night before bed. These things don't take a lot of time and they don't take a lot of effort, but it's showing yourself that you can stick to something, you can stick to a plan, you can stick to something that you said you're going to do. And when you make those promises to yourself and you keep them, you'll be like, well, I can stick to things. Like, my discipline's not the problem, because look, I've done it for the last month. I've done 10 push-ups every day for the last month, first thing in the morning. Well done me. Another one would be to find a discipline buddy, which is kind of hard, especially if you're working on different goals or whatever. But it's like, if you're wanting to do like the reading one, or you want to do more exercise, like, you can go for a walk every day, or every weekend you're going to go and run 5k on a Saturday morning, or you're going to go to the gym every morning before work. Because when you set your alarm at 5 a.m. to go to the gym in the morning, it's much easier to snooze that alarm when it's just you that's counting on yourself. But if someone else is counting on you, if you know they're going to be there and they're going to show up, you're literally going to push yourself to make sure you're there, because you're quite happy letting yourself down, but you don't want to let somebody else down. And that's like how it works. It's like, well, I don't respect myself enough to show up, but I respect that other person enough for me to show up, which is a wild concept, but it's true for a lot of people. I'm not going to show up for myself like, oh, I'm going to get up. Like, if I wasn't going to the gym with my friend, I'd 100% just snooze my alarm. Like, why am I not doing it just for myself? I'm only doing it because they're doing it. I'm only doing it because they're dependent on me. But you're counting on you. You're counting on you to get yourself up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym. But we don't think like that, do we? So having someone to do it with, someone that is going to be on the same page as you, motivate each other, like, be disciplined with each other and be strict with each other as well. Like, no, we're not flaking on the gym. Like, no, we're not snoozing the alarm. We're going to get up and do it. We're going to get up and go to the gym, and we're going to smash our goals together. Remember your why. When things are tough, and they will get tough, especially if you're going after something big, if you've got big goals that you want to achieve, you're going to be in the trenches at points. You're going to be pushing yourself through tiredness, fatigue, stress, so many other factors. Like, sometimes life just gets in the way, and the last thing you want to do is go and focus on your goals. You just want to rot in your bed or watch TV. You just want to relax. But remember your why. No, I said I wanted to do this because of that. Remembering that and trying to focus on it and being like, well, I promised myself that I was going to do this, and just try and work on that. Try and gaslight yourself into doing the hard thing. I think the most important part is, remember, you are going to fail. Whatever it is you're doing, you're going to fail. Me with this podcast, I completely fell off the wagon for like a month, and it could have been, like, I'm not even joking. I was so far away from it that I was like, oh, I don't think I can ever see myself doing it again. But then I was like, no, you said you wanted to do this. You have time to do this. Your priorities are all wrong. You're not disciplined. Like, you're not chasing after the goals that you set out for. And that's why I wanted to speak about this in this episode, because you are going to fail. The most disciplined person in the world fucks up sometimes, unless you're David Goggins. But, not everyone is an absolute psychopath like him. But just don't let it spiral. And if you see yourself spiraling, try and stop yourself using all of the other techniques that we've spoke about today. If you see yourself spiraling, try and catch yourself and be like, no, we're not doing this. We're not falling off the bandwagon. No, I'm not going to order a Domino's tonight because I've had a stressful day. I said I was going to want to lose weight, so I'm going to make myself dinner. I'm going to discipline myself like a child and make myself a home cooked meal, because that's the thing. And I say it to myself all the time. It's even stupid things like, oh, I can't be bothered brushing my teeth tonight. Like, I wouldn't let my daughter go to bed without brushing her teeth. So why the hell am I going to let myself go to bed without brushing my teeth? You need to treat yourself like you're your child. You wouldn't let your child eat a whole tub of Ben and Jerry's. Well, maybe you would. And if you don't have kids, like your nephew or your niece, or I don't know. You get the picture though. You wouldn't let them do some of the things you do. My daughter doesn't want to go to dancing. Like, I get that there's times where, you don't want to do it. But you've made a commitment. You've made a commitment that you're going to go to dancing every week, and if you just don't want to go because you're not bothered, like, tough shit, babe. We're going. Get your dance shoes on. We're going to dancing. And some probably be like, "Oh my god, like, why are you parenting like that?" But at the end of the day, like, she never comes out of dancing and she's like, "That was the worst thing ever. I hated it." She always comes out and she's like, "Oh, I actually really enjoyed it." Whatever. But it's the same thing. No, I am gonna wash my face, brush my teeth, and put my skincare on before I go to bed because I am parenting myself. My mum is not, she's not dead, but my mum's not around to parent me anymore. I don't have a parent telling me what I should and shouldn't do, so I need to do that for myself. That's where discipline comes in, is you need to parent yourself. You need to look after yourself as if you are your own child. Because well, you only want the best for your kids. You want them to have nice teeth, you want them to have clean hair and a clean face and clean clothes, and you want them to have a healthy diet and get exercise and be smart and intelligent and do their homework and read books and lower their screen time and spend time outside. And most of the time we do the complete opposite for ourselves. We literally will rot in the house and we'll eat junk food and we'll stare at a screen until our eyes are square, and we'll go to bed late and we'll have to get up early and we'll snooze our alarm, and we'll go to bed without brushing our teeth or washing our face, or I've not washed my hair in 6 days, but it's okay, we'll just do another slick back. Like, if you've seen your child acting like that, like, you would not let them. So why do we let ourselves do it? Like, why do we let ourselves behave like pigs because we don't have any discipline? Because we don't have anyone guiding us anymore. We're all adults, but at the end of the day, like, you still need someone to parent you, I think. And unfortunately, it's going to have to be you. That's been interesting. Um, and I just really wanted to make this episode to be like, it's okay to fall off sometimes. It's okay to lose your discipline and lose your motivation and fall off the bandwagon. But remember and pick yourself up and keep going. Like, don't let one speed bump slow you down. If you fall off the bandwagon, just pick yourself up and keep going. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. I'd really, really appreciate it. I love you all so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.